everyone, welcome back to my channel, and it's the end of October. Man, just this month flew by, but I read 4.5. I consider graphic novels a half. I don't consider them a full. So 4.5, which is not that bad in my book. I appreciate it. And I apologize if you're hearing my dog. She has to be right next to me, and of course she has to be like itching up a storm right now. But anyway, so the first book that I read in the month of October, I am reading this long-ass series with Leine from Leine's Library. We are getting through Cassandra Clare's thing. So I read City of Ashes, and I quite enjoyed it, and I will continue on with the city... I can't talk. Quite enjoyed it. I'm going to keep reading this series, and I'm going to read it in the order that Cassandra Clare recommends it. It's really the main protagonist, Clary. I start to really like her in this book. The first book was your typical YA character, but she kind of redeems herself a little bit in this one, so I liked it. I'm gonna keep going. So I've enjoyed reading this alongside Leine as well. She's just fun to buddy read with. So if you haven't buddy read with Leine, she's pretty awesome. So next I read The Walking Dead, what is this, 6? The Walking Dead 6, which, I mean, obviously I'm in the 6th now, so it would be like major spoilers. But if you ever watched the, oh, sorry, I forgot how graphic. This one is the most graphic that has happened so far. It's way more graphic than the movie series, The Walking Dead, the movie series, the TV series, The Walking Dead. So it's way more graphic. It's way more explicit. So, you know, if you already can't handle The Walking Dead, then these, I don't think you can handle these. But like I said, it's been very interesting to read this because the series has gotten a little monotonous for me, but I'll probably still end up finishing it anyway. But they're in the prison and they meet the governor. So that's this here, which I am struggling because I have The Walking Dead up to volume 8, but I am having the biggest struggle finding volume 9. So I may just have to order it. I'm finding every other, but I can't find 9 because I do want to continue on with this series. The next one was a fun one that you guys actually chose, so thank you. I love doing the Help Me Pick series that I do. I wanted to read a YA kind of fluff novel, so I had 6 different options, and it was a surprise to everyone, and it was Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon, which I've wanted to get to for a long time, and it did not disappoint. This is about a young girl who is allergic to everything, and then there's a boy that moves in next door, and he's precious, and they kind of communicate through their windows, and they kind of watch each other, then they end up chatting on, well, I used to have AIM, I don't know if it's AIM, but back in the day, so it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. You know, flirting and chatting with a boy via AIM. And hearing the little door sound and the door shutting was always upsetting. The end had a really interesting twist to it, which I really enjoyed. Their little romance was adorable, but it got a lot deeper than I thought that it would get. But I really enjoyed it. The characters have a lot of depth and a lot of backstories, and it really surprised me. It wasn't just fluff. It actually had a deep meaning, and it was about 2 kids bonding, and it was just really great. I enjoyed it. It was so quick, easy. Her writing style is so easy to read. How dare someone walk near my window? I thought it was really well done. Very surprising, actually more deep than I thought. That's the synopsis. I actually really enjoyed it. So I recommend Everything Everything. So nice. The next is the second book to the Wayward Children series. The first one is Every Heart a Doorway, and this is the second one, Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shannon McGuire. And okay, so it is about a group of kids that are taken to this home because along the way all of these little kids find a door, and this door takes them to another land, and either it's, you know, someplace really dark or it's someplace really whimsical like Candyland, and then they find the door back home and they're sent back home and they don't know how to cope in the real world. I mean, like what I said a long time ago was like if you went to Hogwarts and then they were just like, nope, you gotta go back home to reality, but then you still know of Hogwarts, but you can't go back. So it's kind of a facility, the parents don't really know what to do with the kids, so it's kind of a facility where they can take their kids and either the therapist can help them cope well, I think there's two different schools. There's one that helps them cope, and then there's one that helps them forget. And so this is the one that kind of helps them cope. And so the second book, it's kind of like a Jack and Jill retell. It's Jack and Jill's in it, but it's two females, and Jacqueline and Jillian, I think. And so they're in the first one. So this one is actually a backstory about Jack and Jill and the leading up to their family life, leading up to them going to their doors, going through the doors, and then their life after the doors and their kind of desolate surroundings that they have. So they both went together as twins. So obviously you would think Jacqueline would be more masculine and Jillian would be more feminine, and then it's kind of flipped on its head. So it's kind of the backstory of Jack and Jill in the first book, and I have a feeling there's a third one coming out, and I have a feeling they'll kind of do backstories on a lot of the different characters. But the first one I really enjoyed. The second one took me a little bit to get into, realizing that's Jack and Jill's backstory, and then I got more into it as it went on because the character development was really nice. But I do miss my other characters from the other book, and I kind of wish they were in there a little bit. But maybe we'll, in further book series, we will get some of our other characters in there in their backstories. So I'm hoping that those characters come back because I really liked them. So it wasn't the best book that I've ever read, but it was interesting reading about their backstory. But I miss my characters. That's all I'll say. Then the last book that I read, and I did not finish currently, I'm kind of taking a break right now, and we did it in our quarterly book club video. G from Book Rose posted it, and all of us talked about Nevernight. Oh, Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. So definitely go check out that video live stream. It's about an hour long, and we all just talk about Nevernight, and there was 2 of us who didn't finish it, and the rest did. So I think I actually read this over the span of 2 weeks, and it was really slow to get into, so I thought maybe the audiobook might help me, but I feel like the audiobook... She startles me every time. I'll wait. It's very hard to get into, so I picked up the audiobook because I thought that would help, but I think the narrator was just okay, and there's footnotes in this book, okay? And the audiobook doesn't really do a good job of kind of sectioning out what are footnotes and what is the actual story, so it got a little confusing. And then he uses terminology like Philosopher's Stone, which we all kind of agreed there was a Philosopher's Stone before J.K. Rowling, but J.K. kind of ruined, you know, anytime I heard Philosopher's Stone, I thought of Harry Potter, and then I wanted to read Harry Potter. And then he has things like God's Grave, which I feel like is kind of an overused term. Not that fantasy series have to be completely original and think of all these new words, but there was some common words that I hear all the time in here, and that kind of bothered me. And his writing is very dense and flowery and almost kind of made up. Sometimes like, oh, well, that's not a real sentence, but you know, you're the author. You can do what you want. You're still a published author, and I am not. So, I don't know. I want to say that I'm giving it a break and I'm going to finish it. Jade from Jadeyraereads said it takes about till page 344 until she really got into it, which kind of irks me a little bit. Like, why does it take this long for me to finally... Han! Like, why does it take this long for me to finally get into it? That's kind of my gripe. But then I've heard this is worth it, though. So, I've also heard that the second one to this is even better, and the writing style is more understandable, and blah, blah, blah. Right now I have DNF'd it, but who knows, I might revisit it because they were making it sound way more exciting. And I was like, what book was I reading this whole time? You guys are saying all these really cool scenes, and I guess I wasn't there. Maybe I just wasn't into it, and I was power reading it so that I could get it done before the book club, but it just wasn't happening, and I can't force things, you know? So that was all the books that I read in the month of October. Let me know if you've also read any of these, and we can chat about them down in the comments. Thank you guys for choosing everything. I really enjoyed it this month. I want to have another one for November, so look out for that. I'm gonna have a book haul coming up because I've bought so many books, and I can talk about some of the media and things. And also, a series that I watched this month was Mindhunter on Netflix. was really great. Binged watched it. My dad also binge watched it, so we got to talk about it. My mom growing up was writing a mystery novel, and so she was really into serial killers and blah blah blah. So we would read up about them and learn about the different serial killers. And it was kind of my mom's way of being like, they're not all good people in this world. So Mindhunter is actually in the 70s when they're thinking of the lingo like serial killer or a organized killer or a non-organized killer. And all of these phrases that we use today were not a thing in the 70s. So they're actually psychologists that, and in the police force that actually went to prison and talked to murderers and got in their head and tried to find patterns. So it was really interesting. Good show. If you're interested, you should watch it because I binge watched it. I was addicted to it. So that's one little favorite. So I'm gonna have some more videos coming up in the future. I definitely wanna get to filming more. It's been a crazy few months, but no excuse. No excuse. But I love filming videos and I love chatting with you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you and I will see you in my next one.